Hi everyone, Shika here with NarcDojo, where we discuss pathological narcissism, personal development, spirituality, and raising your awareness. In today's video, I'm going to share with you some information on how to easily spot these toxic personalities. Because if you can easily spot the characteristics, then you can avoid them or lessen their impact, depending on the circumstance that you are actually in. So understand that pathological narcissists, and when we're using the term pathology here, understand that a pathology is the study of diseases or disorders. And when we're talking about pathological narcissists, then narcissism is a clinical term. Hence, clinicians or psychologists or psychotherapists are psychopathologists. Hence, they study diseases related to the mind power, the willpower, and the emotions. So, what we're talking about here are highly disordered individuals. And there are really four main characteristics of pathological narcissists. So, number one is that they're highly grandiose. So, they believe that they are superior to others without merit. Number two is that they require excessive amounts of admiration, validation, and attention. So they need your reflection, they need your energy because they can't really survive on their own. So essentially, you're dealing with addicts. Narcissists are people addicts. They are addicted to people. Number three is a lack of empathy. And what we're talking about here is the inability to put oneself in others' shoes. So if you're dealing with a pathological narcissist, then you're dealing with someone that will harm you and they will not feel bad about it because they essentially are empathy impaired. And people that are empathy impaired then are filled with apathy. And this is why I show you oftentimes the Hawkins scale, or the Map of Consciousness by Dr. David R. Hawkins. I know that you can read the book or the main book that Dr. David R. Hawkins writes on this, which is Power versus Force, in the NARC 101 course. That is the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery course. And this is the book assignment that is at the end of Module 1, Understanding Your Multidimensional Nature. So if the chart here, the scale here makes a lot of sense, it would be really good for you to actually read the entire book, right? So number three is your lack of empathy. And the fourth one that I'm going to add here is pathological lying. And again, here's that word, pathological. So if someone is a pathological liar, like Pinocchio, then they are addicted to lying. We're not talking about someone that merely tells a white lie here and there. They essentially are addicted to lying, which is why pathological lying is actually called mythomania. So they're very manic people. They're manic with their lies. Essentially, pathological liars are people that tell so many lies, and they kind of have to use one lie to back up another lie. And they'll also get upset with you if you do not believe these lies. All right, so those are the four main characteristics that you can look out for when it comes to pathological narcissists. And again, a pathology is a disease. So as we go through the videos on this channel, it is important that you do not project your consciousness onto a narcissist. Narcissists do not think like you. We're talking about pathologies here. So we're talking about patterned, disordered behaviors. So do not project your consciousness. Instead, you should discern. Look at the fruit. Look at the output. Because if you can tell the output, then you can tell the input. So, for example, if someone is participating in abusive behavior, and narcissists are highly manipulative and abusive because they exist in victim abuser consciousness. So oftentimes on this channel, you hear me state that pathological narcissists are people that exist in victim abuser consciousness. They are based in shame and they're unable to move past their pride. And what this means is that they are only able to access negative emotions. So it is a common misconception that they do not feel emotions. They do feel emotions. They are negative emotions. So they do not have access to higher level emotions like empathy and love and kindness and compassion. They don't even have access to courage. Pathological narcissists exist below the line of courage. And if someone exists below the line of courage, then that means that they are in the energetic vibration of cowardice. And cowards are abusers. Narcissists are adult bullies. Bullies are abusers. So because pathological narcissists exist in victim abuser consciousness, understand that what actually happened in the narcissistic abusive entanglement was that you lowered your vibration and got down into victim abuser consciousness with them. You got down into the third dimension. Because what you thought initially in the love bomb, which I'll get to in just a bit, was that you were dealing with your equal. You were never dealing with your equal. What pathological narcissists do is they kind of bait and switch. They kind of mimic you to get you to think that they are like you, but they're nothing like you. And because they are unable to ascend, again, they're unable to pass that spiritual barrier right there at the third dimension, right there, the line of pride, they're unable to ascend because they're in a negative state of consciousness. Courage is a positive emotion. And what I mean here is every day that a narcissist wakes up, they're in shame. And the highest that they will get is pride. And the pride that we're talking about here is being filled with pride. Believing that they are, again, better than other people without merit. And there's a popular saying that goes, pride cometh before the fall. So they're going to fall back down to shame. So you're dealing with people that are unable to ascend. And they have been going around this shame pride cycle long before you came into the picture. So what they do is they mimic empathetic, kind people. They mimic higher vibrations. And what happens again is that you lower your consciousness. You have to lower your standards to get into a relationship with pathological narcissists because again, they're unable to ascend. You have the ability to step out of the third dimension by getting the courage to walk away, by getting the courage to ascend, by reaching for love and kindness and compassion instead of shame, and guilt and anger and pride and so on. So understand that when it comes to the narcissistic abusive entanglement, and I try to stay away from calling these relationships because you really are in a relationship or you are in a parasitic relationship. They're there to drain the life out of you. And understand that you are the life. You are the life force. You are source. You are source energy. Narcissists are a black hole. Black holes consume light. They're consuming your light because, again, they're unable to ascend. So what they do is they drain other people's energies. They drain other people's resources to build themselves up. But again, they're not going to be able to get past the line of pride. So when it comes to a narcissistic abusive entanglement, understand that you really are not in a relationship. You are in an abuse cycle. You are not in an relationship. You're not in a relationship. You are in a abuse cycle. And this is why it seems like it never ends, because you're in a cycle. You're on a hamster wheel. You're on a hamster wheel headed to hell, because that is the vibration that pathological narcissists are in. They are suffering, so they want you to suffer with them. They are in misery, so they want you to also be miserable. Their grandiosity is a mask for their pathologically low self-esteem. So we're going to stop off here in today's video. However, understand that when it comes to pathological narcissists do not have love to give. They are empathy impaired. And also, you cannot love a narcissist. They cannot receive your love. They are not in the dimension where they can receive love. Again, you are unable to love a pathological narcissist, and they are unable to love you. They do not know what love is. Pathological narcissists are actually allergic to love. You'll see where if you try to give them love and kindness and compassion, it actually makes them irritated. So what do pathological narcissists want? They want your attention, admiration, validation, and your reflection. Narcissists do not want your love. So whenever the narcissist in your life, and this could be a intimate partner, could be a business partner, could be a parent, it could be a friend, boss, coworker, etc. When narcissists claim to you that you're not loving them or you're not showing them love or giving them love, what they're talking about is attention, not love. Narcissists never, and I really want you to pay attention to this information here, people. Narcissists did not develop to the level where they could receive love. Pathological narcissism is a type of psycho-spiritual arrested development. You're dealing with people that are based in shame and they're unable to move past their pride. What we're talking about here again are negative emotions. Love is a positive emotion. And abuse is not love. Abuse is the inverse of love. This is why when it comes to dealing with pathological narcissists, the narcopath, the sociopath, the psychopath, these toxic people, you must get the courage to walk away. Because they don't have courage. They don't have love. They don't have peace. They do not have access to positive emotions. They did not develop to that level. In one of the previous videos, I mentioned that narcissists are unripened fruits. And what is an unripened fruit? You get unripened fruits or underdeveloped fruits when you don't grow a plant in the right way. So maybe it didn't get enough sunlight, it didn't get the adequate amounts of water and other nutrients that it needed. So when it developed into its full state, it developed to its full state, but it is unripened or underdeveloped. Unripened fruits are like those horrible grainy apples that you find in the supermarket. Look good on the outside, but when you bite into them, they're horrible on the inside. And just like an unripened fruit, you can't really put these fruits back on the tree because they've already fully grown. So what do you do with an unripened fruit? You don't eat it. What do you do with an underdeveloped soul, like a pathological narcissist? You avoid them by going no contact or as little contact as you possibly can, again, depending on the exact situation that you are in. It is important that you adjust your expectations when you're dealing with pathological narcissists. You're dealing with people with very severe arrested development, and again, they are empathy impaired, which means that they will harm you and they will not feel bad about doing it. They do not have access to empathy and love and kindness and compassion. They are underdeveloped souls, hence they have a personality disorder. All right, good people. As always, if you appreciate the content, please give us a like, share, and subscribe for more empowering content. And if you have any comments or feedback, you can go ahead and leave that in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next video.